The 1950s Science Fiction Podcast is a show that delves into the world of mid 20th century science fiction, covering movies, TV shows, radio dramas, and literature. Hello, and welcome again to this mini podcast of the 1950s Science Fiction Podcast. Today, I will follow up on a previous episode discussing a pre-code comic from the early 50s, Kenton of the Star Patrol. Keaton is a Buck Rogers style character assigned to tough cases throughout the known universe. As an officer of the Star Patrol, he enforces law and order and while helping those who are in need. The series was published in the comic book Strange Worlds during the early 1950s. And for a more in-depth perspective, be sure to listen to Season 2, Episode 6 of my podcast. In today's podcast, I will review the next two stories of Keaton Complete series, which I used as a source material in the previous episode. First, I will discuss Vampires of the Void, published in Strange Worlds number 4. Then I will cover the story Sirens of Space from issue number 5. Directly for the first comic story, Vampires of the Void. This story starts on the planet Dim and within the chief city, Palmora. The ruler is discussing a crisis. The ruler is a female named Mizra, an evil queen. She tells her minions that the generators can't run on animals and that humans must be used for that purpose. The generators use the life force of living beings as their power source, and the planet's supply is dwindling. Mazara conducts a meeting with the planet's council and decides to obtain new supplies from Earth. She sends her soldiers to the solar system to attack. One by one, Earth's defenses fall, leaving the solar systems defenseless. On board the spaceship, the crew experiences sleep paralysis due to the aliens' weapons. The aliens plan to use the captured crew for energy in the planet's generators. While the aliens seize control of the ships, Keaton hears reports over the radio and decides to investigate. He discovers the defense ships on the planet but finds no signs of the crew. Keaton is then discovered by aliens and captured. Although he puts up a fierce fight, he is taken to Palmora. Once in Palmora, Keaton is brought before the Queen, who explains her plan. She reveals that her subjects will use every Earthman to power their machines, which drain the life force from the victims. When Keaton witnesses a victim perish within one of these machines, he becomes enraged and vows revenge. However, he is quickly repelled from escaping and must devise a new strategy to defeat the evil queen. Keaton convinces the queen that he truly wants to help her and her people in their quest, and she finds him appealing. She decides to spare him and assigns him tasks in her laboratory. However, they do not fully trust him, so he is locked inside. While working there, Keaton discovers a UV light labeled as dangerous. He realizes this device could be weaponized and decides to modify it. When the queen returns with her minions, she sets Keaton free from the lab. Keaton tells the queen that he has a gift for her. Before the guards can react, Keaton managed to destroy the life force machines and vowed to kill her and her people. The queen's guards try to subdue him. However, he deploys a UV light weapon and vaporizes the guards and the queen, who is the last to go. In the aftermath, Keaton vows to be vigilant against any enemies of this kind. This episode of the series is excellent. It is filled with mystery and action, which is typical of most of the Keaton adventures. However, I am concerned about how he's allowed to eliminate all these enemies without regard for any ethical considerations. I suppose this plot device was characteristic of the pre-code comics. Now on to the next story, Sirens of Space. In this story, Keaton once again deals with another evil female queen. This time, it's something straight out of Greek mythology. The Sirens of Space appear in issue number 5 of the Strange Worlds comics. The episode begins with a luxury space liner traveling through a remote region of outer space. As it moves along, small spaceships crewed by women approach, starting to sing strange songs to the passengers and crew. The eerie music leaves both the crew and passengers feeling unwell or highly agitated. Once the performance concludes, the mysterious women, accompanied by their queen, board the liner and take control of the ship. They proceed to rob the vessel of its money and enslave the crew. On the passenger's deck, a female reporter contacts Keaton using a secret transmitter, prompting him to investigate. When, when Keaton arrives at the rocket liner, he is confronted by the Queen, who he soon learns the Queen of the Outer Space Sirens has taken control of the vessel, and their songs will overpower him. The evil queen explains that they use ordinary sound waves amplified many times above safe levels for humans, which creates a stunning effect on anyone who can hear it. They capture Keaton, and the queen explains her plans. She enslaves the passengers, forcing them to work on her home world, while some are kept in suspended animation. The Queen also uses the captured spaceships to smuggle contraband to other planets. Keaton is taken to a storage room and locked up, and the temperature is lowered to prepare him for freezing. As he looks around for a weapon to use against the Queen and her guards, he unexpectedly finds some lactanic acid lying around and decides to contaminate the water supply. After executing his plan, he manages to escape in his rocket ship, but chooses to visit the Queen first. During the visit, he discovers the Serenaders have used their cannot use their voice, but are otherwise powerless. With this newfound knowledge, Keaton is able to arrest the Queen and her crew, freeing the prisoners in the process. This story was just as good as the previous one. It seems like many stories follow a similar formula. I noticed some pre-code elements in this story, such as a shower scene in one panel and a mention of the word narcotic in the other. The shower panel featured certain parts of the female character covered, but it was still intended to be suggestive. The drug reference relates to illegal drug use. Well, that's all for now. I hope you've enjoyed listening to this episode of the show. I will look forward to a new topic. I look toward new topics for the next podcast soon. In the meantime, follow me on social media, Instagram at Shutterbug1681, X at Edward German 3. Be sure to subscribe to my blog at 1950 Science Fiction Podcast blog, also on WordPress. Thanks for listening.